you were listening and thinking, I want to experience Mosaic's virtual programs, no worries. We got you. We are excited to announce a program for the whole family, the Friends and Family series. And it's going to be a 7-week virtual program focusing on assertive conflict resolution and empathy to create peaceful and inclusive families. So if you're interested, please fill out our interest form. You can find it in the link tree below. And we also have exciting youth leader events coming up, so stay tuned. You can find more information on our Instagram account at Mosaic Project.
And I have to say though, as much as we love our virtual programs, there isn't a substitute for the outdoor project. And we are so excited to be able to return to this programming as soon as we are able to. And Ysabel and I were actually both lucky enough to attend Mosaic when we were in 4th grade. Here we are. Notice Ysabel's beautiful face paint. And you can see my fashion choice, tie-dye on tie-dye, you know, gotta stay on brand. Anyways, we got to come back many times as youth leaders. And between the two of us, we've actually done more than 10 sessions at the outdoor school. Oh yeah, there we are on the GYC land.
And Zoe and I actually went to the same elementary school together, but we didn't connect until our senior year of high school after doing a session as cabin leaders. We come from very different backgrounds, and we've been going to school together for years, but we are segregated within our schools. I could recognize Zoe on the playground, but I had no real reason to go up to her. Before Mosaic, I didn't have the tools to connect with people different than myself, or the understanding of how powerful connection really can be. I was usually hesitant to talk to people who were different and who didn't think or act like me. But Mosaic's emphasis on embracing our differences changed the way I see the world. Now I understand the importance of hearing different perspectives, and I know that my connections are so much stronger because of this. And as a member of the Gap Year crew, I have had the opportunity to connect with an amazing group of people. And if you really knew the GYC, you would know that we love having passionate conversations. Sometimes they're about the greatness of Bohemian Rhapsody. Other times, they're about how humor is sometimes used as a mask for discrimination. We may not always agree on everything, and we shouldn't. The world would be a boring place if everyone thought and looked the same. But in every discussion we have in the GYC, we come back to our Mosaic values of listening, empathy, and mutual respect. And I know for a fact that many adults struggle to have these conversations, and they often resort to violence because they don't have the skills of assertive conflict resolution. And I really do believe that our world would be a more peaceful and inclusive place if everyone had the chance to experience Mosaic.
Yeah, so at Mosaic, as 4th graders, those of you who have been there as students may know that we write letters to our future selves. And those letters are then sent to us when we're 15, which is when we can come back to be a cabin leader. So when I got my letter, I already knew I was coming back, no doubt about it. But my letter really sealed the deal, and I want to share it with you today. So I started off by saying, "Hello, person, I am from the past. You might see me sometime. I am not from your time period, though." Creative, right? Yeah, I know. So I then go on to describe my love for Mosaic in multiple paragraphs, using words like awesome, cool, amazing, awesome, 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 awesome. And then I end with this, saying, "I hope that you come back so much. I had so much fun, and I hope you want to come back as a youth leader." And you know, I really just could not turn down the 23 O's that I took the time to write out, or the 10 exclamation points that I used. And you can really see my enthusiasm just in this letter as a 4th grader. And I have to tell you, it only grew as I returned as a cabin leader year after year after year. And you know, you hear this buzzword diversity a lot, right? And it's really easy to fall into the trap of looking at the numbers of who is in the room. But what is diversity without connection? It's segregation. At Mosaic, I experienced the concept of diversity in a way I never had before. It wasn't about filling quotas or trying to appear diverse from the outside. It was about empathy, and it was about forming understanding. Before Mosaic, I really just didn't have the tools or the vocabulary to talk about the white privilege that I have. It was after learning about peace blockers, blame, guilt, and defensiveness that built my own awareness about how to talk about my privileges. By working towards getting over guilt or defensiveness of whiteness, I've been able to listen and empathize with those of different backgrounds more than I ever would have without these skills. And we've been saying a lot of incredible things about Mosaic, and I think sometimes it can be hard to understand Mosaic if you've never been there or been exposed to it. And I think this is partly because it's kind of hard to explain. How do you explain that in 1 week, your entire worldview can expand? That every interaction you experience is forever altered? How can you explain that every single time you leave Mosaic, you are one step closer to the person you want to become, while simultaneously loving who you are now more? It can be really hard to believe, I know, that one program can have as great of an impact as it does, but I promise you it does to almost 1,000 kids each year. And your support is critical to making this happen.
A permanent home for our outdoor project has been the dream since Mosaic's very beginning. Having our own land will allow us to quadruple, yes, quadruple the number of participants served. It will give us the flexibility to add new programs year-round and provide stability to become a model center for diversity, empathy, and assertive conflict resolution.
And we are so excited for Mosaic to have a home where future generations can have the same kind of experiences that have shaped us. And now that dream is starting to become a reality thanks to Scott and Molly Forstall, who recently purchased a beautiful 37-acre property for us in Castro Valley. And it's only 25 minutes from Oakland, so not a long commute at all. And we now call it the Forstall Forest. And this is where the Gap Year crew, the GYC, have our incredible socially distanced overnights once a week when we're not in full lockdown mode. And you can see the virtual model of our future camp on Gather after this. Some of you may have seen it, but the link will be in the chat. But we'll also show you a picture right now.
We've been drilling wells and designing septic systems, gray water systems, buildings, and the landscape, and our site plan is now complete. We're currently going through the extensive permitting and environmental study process, but all the while, we have not slowed down our programming as we work towards this vision that will enable Mosaic to survive and thrive well into the future. And as you can see, this is a pivotal time for the Mosaic Project, as well as for the world. And that's why we need your support more than ever.
One thing I learned at Mosaic is that we all have our own unique and diverse role in contributing to a just society that includes everyone. We like to say here, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something.
I grew up in a single parent household where my mom struggled to raise 3 kids on her own. And when the time came for me to attend Mosaic, my mom didn't have to worry about whether we could afford to send me because the program was offered on a sliding scale. And that's because of you, all of our generous donors who make this program possible for all students regardless of their financial backgrounds. I never want a child or a school to miss out on the opportunity to learn the Mosaic values because of lack of funds. And now I want to take a moment to do an activity with you all. We actually were inspired by Kara, so thank you, Kara. I want you to think about your top 3 priorities for the world. And I invite you to type one into the chat. The top 3 things you want for the world. And I see peace, equity, a lot of equity, joy, collaboration, justice, all amazing things. Thank you for sharing. And so I want to take a moment. You can pause that thought. And now I want you to think about the top 3 things you use your spending money on. Do your lists match? And money is powerful, and we have the ability to put our money, no matter the amount, towards our values.
And we know that this year the pandemic has impacted many families financially. So we invite you to donate whatever you can and are able. I also want to point out, though, that while the pandemic has undoubtedly impacted us all, it has not impacted us all equally. I know that you're probably thinking right now of an amount you plan to donate today, and that's great. Keep that in your brain. But before you do, I want you to think back on the past few months for your family. For my family, both my parents have been able to continue working. So we have the privilege that we've actually saved money. If you're in a similar situation than me, I invite you to think of a $90 show ticket you didn't buy, or a $250 plane ticket you didn't use, or a $75 dinner that you didn't have. And I challenge you to step into your stretch zone today and add this to the amount that you were already planning on contributing.
This year, we've been able to see how much work goes on behind the scenes. And let me tell you, it's unbelievable. Everyone works incredibly hard, and we operate on an extremely tight budget. So seriously, every donation counts. So you can donate right now on our website at www.mosaicproject.org/donate, or you can send us a check. And on our website, there are options to make a reoccurring donation, to become a sustaining supporter, and to give in honor of a loved one.
So as Laura said, we are dedicating this brunch to Mosaic's co-founder, Gogi Hodder. We invite you to type in the chat who you are honoring with your donation. And we invite you to type in the amount that you're donating to help us keep track and to inspire us all in our giving. If you don't feel comfortable chatting that publicly, you can also chat the Mosaic Project directly.
We hope each of you will join us in giving a contribution that is meaningful to you. Whether it's $5 that helps us buy stamps, $5,000 that funds the whole virtual workshop series for a fourth grade class, or $50,000 that funds the design of our water systems for our new camp. Nothing is too little, and also nothing is too much. You can also support us by buying merchandise and coming to our events, just like this one. And you can hire the Mosaic Consulting Project to do a training at your own business. And all of the proceeds directly fund our youth programs.
And I'm seeing some incredible donation things in the chat, who you're honoring. We love it. Keep them coming. Keep your donations, what you're donating, coming in the chat. We love to see it. And, you know, at the outdoor project, every week before the students come, we have a meeting. And we all say together, if you're staff, you know this, when it gets harder to love, love harder. My wish for the world is that everyone can experience feeling loved, seen, and heard the way I do every single time I go to Mosaic. Mosaic gives me so much hope and motivation, especially right now, to work towards a more peaceful future. And I hope that today you've been able to see just a glimpse of this Mosaic magic.